welcome to another episode of Physical Forever Games. My name is Carrie, and I'll be your host. And today I'd like to talk to you about a trip that we took to Super Nintendo World in Los Angeles, California. My girlfriend and I were able to go to the park last month, and we were able to spend an entire day there. Fortunately, this was within a month of the park opening, so it's all very fresh. I, of course, watched a ton of videos on what merch was going to be there, what merch was in the Japan shops, and I had quite the wish list. There were many items that were sold out. Now, I do want to make clear that these items aren't necessarily rare. I think people are just kind of buying them up. As things settle down, as the movie passes and so on, I think the merch will become available. So, don't buy them from a reseller on eBay that's asking twice or more the price. Wait till you go. Wait till it's on the shelf and pick it up. The tin signs were sold out when I was there. That was something big I wanted, but I was able to get pins and patches and magnets that all have the same imagery on it. Surprisingly, the popcorn buckets ended up being the MVP merch of the trip, and I'll share with you why that was. But if you're thinking about going to Super Nintendo World, or if you just want to see what somebody else's trip was like, I hope you'll enjoy this video. So we can start with the drink cups here. First, we have the 1-Up mushroom. These are served filled with regular soda, as opposed to the kind of float ice cream style drinks that they have. As you can see, it's branded on the back. And each one has a unique lanyard. The 1-Up mushroom has the blue lanyard here. They come with kind of a straw. And they clip on to the sides here. Go ahead and open this up to show you what it looks like. So that's your base cup there, and that screws in to the lid. We've got our super mushroom here. Also can be filled with any soda. This one still has the tag on it, so you can kind of see what those look like. And this one has the yellow lanyard on it. Then we'll move into the popcorn buckets. These have quite a bit more detail to them, as they should, since they are $40. Now, that does get you free refills on popcorn throughout the day, and an individual scoop of popcorn does cost $10, so the price is actually a little bit more palatable when you consider those things. The Power-Up Star has a very similar lanyard to what we saw on the drink buckets. This is just that same variant, but this time in red. This one still has the tag on it. The tag for this one has some instructions because the popcorn buckets actually have some additional features, which I'll try to highlight here for you. So on the back of the star, you can see the popcorn vessel here. This one doesn't come out. I'll show you what I mean when we get to the Mario Kart one. But as you can see, you can fit a decent amount of popcorn in there. Not necessarily an overflowing bucket, but enough for kind of a handful. And this one has some space up towards the top. Now what's really cool about these Superstar ones is that the faceplate actually will rotate off. And on the back here, you've got your battery door, and you can actually turn the star on like this, and there's a couple different buttons and modes. I think there's this and flash actually. And off. Once that's turned on, you can actually just kind of twist it back on to the front, and there you go. You got a glowing star. Pretty neat. One thing that I noticed with these popcorn buckets that I'd like to share is that the mounting points to the lanyards on both the popcorn buckets actually collapse. And that's pretty cool because I think, well, it makes it look more seamless. Now this is just a superstar. And for purposes of a display like the one behind me, it's really nice to have those mounting points collapsed because now this isn't just a popcorn bucket, it's a light up superstar. And what I've actually done is taken the lanyard from these and actually just put it right in the back. And that way this thing is safe, it's protected, I know which one's with which, and I've got my star ready to put up on the display. So the grand finale as far as our storage vessels is certainly Mario. He's in hover mode right now. And we'll kind of do a slow walkthrough on this one too. I want to show you the lanyard for this one in detail because this is the coolest lanyard, no question. It's the only one that's actually different. As we move through it, you can see there's Yoshi, we've got Peach, Latiku, Luigi, Mario. And it looks like it does the same in inverse as we move across. We've got all those different power-up items on there as well as the Super Nintendo World logo. So this is a pretty cool lanyard. And I've considered, putting it on something that I use more often so I can actually display that thing. The popcorn vessel on the Mario Kart is actually in the back. And this one was 43, the star was 40, so this one's a little bit more. And I think you'll see why it has a little bit more detail to it. So the trunk actually opens and you'll see that you've got a popcorn vessel. The instructions recommend that you actually clean this vessel before use. So I'll show you that you can pull the vessel completely out on Mario's Kart. And that's the whole popcorn vessel. So I mean, that's definitely not a full bag of popcorn, but if the intention is for kids to eat these, maybe you're limiting their portion size. This can be independently cleaned from the rest of the cart, and it can be inserted back in like so. The trunk will close up. And I'll show you here on the bottom, we've got some switches. Now, I do think the light on the star is, it's more vibrant, and ultimately I think I like those lights better. But what Mario's card actually does here is give those hover mode wheels a light effect, and that's pretty neat. Although it's not as vibrant, it doesn't have multiple modes like the star, so this one just has a lot more plastic, and with the Mario figurine on there, I think you do get the value out of that end. I do want to show you that these attach points collapse here too, and again, like with the star, I think in doing that, you get more of a figure out of this. And that led to me thinking about, kind of utilizing these in a different way for my collection, since I'm obviously not going to ever put popcorn in them. Let's go ahead and turn those lights on one more time for you. Here we go. And then similarly, like with the other lanyards, you can collapse this and put it into Mario's trunk. Or popcorn storage, however you plan to use it. If you do use this for popcorn, obviously clean it before you put the lanyard in there. You don't want to get that thing all greasy. Fits nice and easy in the back. In fact, I could probably put some more Mario stash in there if I wanted. And now with those attach points down, this is a display piece. And when I realized that, the popcorn buckets started to mean a little bit more to me, because obviously I like to show off my collection. It's something I'm trying to do more of. You get it out of those plastic boxes, out into the air, not into direct sunlight, but just in a place where people can view it, here in my game room. Before you even enter the park, you may want to consider buying power-up bands. Power-up bands allow you to take part in all of the activities of the park. These are basically RFID scanning bracelets, and these allow you to interact with the games, the hidden tiles, to record your score on Mario Kart, and just generally use that app on your phone. Priscilla went with Yoshi, and I'll take this one out and show you what it looks like. Got a QR code on the back. That's how you actually are going to go ahead and activate your band. And you'll see these are actually pretty thick. I'm not sure why these were made to be so thick. Maybe so that people feel like they're getting a little more value out of the band. It certainly didn't need to be that thick for an RFID. For those of you with modern ski passes, you know that they can be in a card. So I don't really know why these are so thick. I think it just kind of made them bulky and a little tougher to wear on the wrist. As you can see, it's much larger than a regular watch. And I did feel that it was kind of moving around my wrist. I had a hard time, maybe it's because I have a bigger wrist, but I had a hard time kind of keeping it flush when I was using it through the park. Another reason you're going to want to grab these before you enter the park is that they actually come with kind of your backstory here. And if you open your instructions, you'll see that you use the app to kind of link your band, and then you use your band to thwart Bowser Jr.'s plot to steal the keys, rule the kingdom, possibly steal Princess Peach. You'll also see this same information whenever you open the app on your phone. So if you missed this little detail or you threw away the box, not to worry. You can see all of this within the app. But it does provide kind of a map, shows you where those activities are, and it's worth taking a look at. If you're able to go to the City Walk outside of the park beforehand, they actually sell these in the little satellite shop up there. That could be a good place to grab it so that you can get this all set up before you get in the park. Because immediately upon entry into the park, you'll see that the bands, can be used to scan things, and you really want to have that set up as early as possible, because if not, you're missing points. Your team is falling behind, and you're not going to be as close to being in the top of the leaderboard. Giving me a little trouble here, shutting it back. Always try to keep our packaging in decent shape where we can. And I'll just quickly show you Toad's band here too. Take that out one more time. I actually went with Toad. I liked the band being more colorful other than it being on a base white. I would love to see some villain bands. I'm hoping that's something that we can see as we move forward. But that, that may not come to fruition, although it seems that Nintendo is maximizing their opportunity here to monetize. So they have plenty of villain merch. So it's likely that I think we will see some bad guy bands in the future, or I'd like to see it at least. So there you can see that's our power-up bands. We'll keep these in case we ever go back to the park, or when we go back to the park. Certainly hoping that Florida one will open, as that's normally where we go to Universal. They have the Velocicoaster. It's objectively a better Universal for that reason alone. So that's our power bands. Priscilla also got a little Boo headband here. They also have Mario, Yoshi, Luigi. I think I saw the 1-Up and Super Mushrooms. So there's some pretty cool headbands. I think this is a good piece of headgear. I never actually put this on, but just for you I will. It's pretty cool looking, I suppose. Better than a hat for those who don't enjoy them. And then we got some mini plushes here to clip these onto our day bags. I had intended on getting the sling bag, the enemy neon sling bag, and I was planning on putting my Shy Guy on there. However, those sling bags were one of the items that were sold out. You'll see these have Universal Studios and then the Nintendo Super Nintendo World branding on them as well. I think they're cute. They had a bunch of different characters of those. I also got some iron-on patches here since I wasn't able to get the tins. I went ahead and picked up the patches, the magnets, and the pins. But as some of you may have noticed, I do also collect pins, and not just Nintendo ones, but this board behind me is specific to video games and Nintendo. So that's a look at the physical merch that we bought on our trip. I cannot wait to go back. I cannot wait till we get a Florida version of this park. And, surprisingly, the MVPs of the merch were the popcorn buckets. These will look great in any collection. I do want to show you, though, that the Super Mario Kart ended up being a little larger than I thought it would. These are Atlantic Oscar shelves. They're 9 inches deep and 7 inches deep, respectively. Unfortunately, the Mario Kart is wider than the shelf, so I cannot use this as a display piece on the shelf. The Superstar fits up there perfectly. It is a beautiful crowning piece of my collection here, even though it's a popcorn bucket that will never have popcorn in it. And I found a temporary home for the Mario bucket near my game station. So, with that in mind, I appreciate you joining for another episode. You take care, Game Boys and Game Girls, and I'll see you next time.